School shootings are unfortunately pervasive in this country, and we have to take every single step that we can to make sure that our schools are safe.
Vermont lawmakers take action after that tragic school shooting in Nashville. We will hear more about the bill that passed the Senate today as we get started here on ABC 22 News. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lauren Maloney. Vermont leaders are trying to ensure safety is a top priority wherever you go in the state. A new school safety bill took a big step forward. State House reporter Josh Morrill tells us the plans. He joins us live tonight. We'll join him right now. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Lauren. Well, after a very emotional floor debate today on the Senate floor surrounding the gravity and the idea of where we are as a country on school safety, Senate Bill 138 was pushed through the Senate. Preliminarily, there will be a final vote tomorrow before officially heading to the House, but it will require schools like the one here behind me to put safety at the forefront. Sanctioning school safety.
It moves us from best practices, if you will, that were previously recommendations to making them requirements.
New safety drills, locking all school doors, and proactive mental health assessments, along with training students to run, hide, or fight. Vermont lawmakers are aiming to make all of these a requirement for school districts.
There are multiple studies that have shown that options-based response, also known as run, hide, or fight, reduces the amount of folks, the amount of students who are shot in these active shooter situations by around 50%.
Dan French is the secretary of Vermont's Agency on Education. He says in recent decades, Vermont has largely focused on physical security in response to school shootings around the country. But since 2019, a number of districts have been taking behavioral threat assessment trainings, something that French views as more proactive.
Really bringing a lens of social psychology to understand the antecedents and the underpinnings of these behaviors. And I think the science points fairly conclusively that individuals who commit these horrific acts of violence largely do so out of last resort.
Along with the behavioral assessments, safety drills and locking doors during school hours haven't been met with contention, but some have sounded the alarm over wording that would force schools to include local law enforcement in threat assessment teams, leading to an amendment excluding districts that don't already have them.
We want to make sure that our kids aren't seen as threats, but we also want to try finding that balance as to how do we keep kids safe.
State officials say increased turnover among superintendents and principals has plagued the execution of safety practices, and add that no data is being recorded to suggest which are adhering to the practices. The bill would change that, and the Superintendents Association says state resources will be needed to make this a reality.
Information from the state is very important. Training opportunities provided by the state, very important.
It can't just be something that you do and sits on a shelf.
Governor Phil Scott says that school safety remains a top priority for him and his cabinet, and says that he supports much of this bill but does want those behavioral test assessment teams in all schools, not just a few. Live in Montpelier tonight, Josh Morrill, ABC 22 News.